We are in Austin for Consensus with Genzio, and today I'm gathered with Jeff from YOM.
That's right.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, how are you?
We actually didn't get a chance to meet each other before. You just walked in and we were just straight to an interview. So I'd love to hear your story and how you came up with YOM.
Sure. So, Yam's not my creation. I'm the CXO, the Chief Experience Officer. They've been in business for about 4 years, and then recently we purchased them. So, Yam is a DePIN that's focused solely on games. So what we are able to do now with our technology is to, with any Unreal project, dropping in our SDK allows them to stream that Unreal game to a URL. So players don't have to have a high-end gaming computer any longer, or a PlayStation or an Xbox. They can now play a game from a website on a small laptop or a phone or anything like this. What that does for game developers, right, is it opens up the funnel to a lot more players because no longer are they gated by having to have a high-end machine. And then for the game players, obviously, it means that they can play a lot more games, a lot of the high-end games that they might not have been able to access before through our technology, through our DePIN network. So, and then the DePIN is run off of nodes. So anybody who has a high-end gaming machine that would like to be a node in our network, they get paid for letting us use some of their GPU power at the times that they're not using their computer.
We'll get more into YOM, but could you share a little bit of
Oh,
your story,
sure.
how you got into crypto?
Sure. I started back in 2017 when Bitcoin was a nice shy little $800. I should have bought more like everybody else, but I actually had been studying economics probably, or what money really was, since maybe 2010. I've been doing games since 2000. Like my gaming career goes back to the Games Cube and PlayStation 2 days. So my first game was a Mary Kate and Ashley game on the GameCube or PlayStation. So that was, I go way back. But my career spanned 25 years, worked all the way up into VR. I did some time at Oculus. I did a lot of educational games as well. So my background was in games, and with YOM, what we did was we found this project that had a really good idea, but they weren't really necessarily selling it correctly. So my CEO, or my partner, his background was in sales, and my background in games, and our chief technologist was there from the very beginning. The three of us have all teamed up now to make YOM what it is, with our engineering team, which is doing most of the technology. Did I get to all the parts that you
Yeah.
wanted to hear?
Are you based here in the US?
No, like every other great crypto company, perhaps we're global. So our tech team and our CTO are there in Amsterdam. My CEO is in near Barcelona in Spain, and I'm in South Carolina here in the States.
Okay. And how long ago did it came up?
Yeah, so Yam originally was trying to do back the same thing that everyone was doing back in those early days 4 years ago. They were building metaverse spaces. They had our team, development team, and they were going out to sell these metaverse spaces. What they realized was it's expensive to host those spaces on Amazon. So they, in the background, their tech team started building what is now known as the DePIN. At the time, they didn't know what it was, but they just were looking for a better solution to host these projects. So they started building that DePIN project up, and that's kind of when they started going through some changes, and we changed the business model. We decided that we'll partner with games and game studios. There are a lot of great game studios out there who are looking for ways to get their product out further.
Yeah.
So we can concentrate on just doing that baseline technology and then have them give us the content to fill up the network.
What about YOM got you interested in joining and like dedicating
Initially, initially it was my first conversation with the CTO, with our CTO. I always say the story, and I don't know if you know if this is going to embarrass him maybe, but my first conversation with him, I felt like I was speaking to a brother that I didn't know. Right? We had the same concept of why money is broken and how a blockchain currency is supposed to work. We talked maybe for 3 hours that first conversation, and it was great. I mean, we're laughing and everything. So that, of course, made me very excited because you do want to work with people that you enjoy working with. That's a key ingredient, right? But then as he explained the technology, and honestly, he explained it to me maybe the first 2 times I wasn't fully understanding it. I didn't really even know what a DePIN was before I got involved. But as he started explaining to me what it was that we were building, I got very excited because I know that games is a huge market, right? 400 billion last year. So it's a big market to get into. And again, I've been in games my entire life, so I want to be back involved in games. But games for us, we think is just a starting point. The intention really for us is to build the backbone for what we call the 3D internet. My son really doesn't go to movies anymore, right? Doesn't watch TV. He does video games mostly, and then some YouTube, right?
Yeah.
That whole generation is growing up in a 3D world playing games, and he doesn't just game; he socializes. He talks to his friends through the games that he plays. So our thesis is that the whole of the internet is going to turn into a 3D. Your social media, instead of having a Facebook page, will be a Facebook apartment. And you have your friends come over, and you'll have an avatar that you want to represent yourself. I probably will be a big purple gorilla in my 3D apartment, right? And I'll have my friends over, we'll play poker, we'll listen to music, all through a 3D site as opposed to a blank web page. So social media will change. The technology we have can do things like basically streaming an interactive video as opposed to just streaming a video, like embedding a YouTube video into a website for an article. We can now embed a 3D experience into a website that you can interact with. So consider having an article that you're reading. In the middle of it is an embedded experience with an AI avatar. And if you want to know more about what the article is talking about, you ask that avatar a question and it answers to you more information about that article that's not, contained in the article. So that's the kind of things that our technology can do. You think of streaming video sites like Roku and Netflix. You get to the end of the movie, and if you want to have more interaction with them, or if you want to play the game for that movie, generally now people go back to their computer and leave Netflix. But for the technology we're talking about, the game that's tied to a movie can now be streamed through the same service. So you never have to leave Netflix to play the game of the movie or do an interaction with, like I said, the AR characters from the movie. It can be all done without leaving Netflix. The question was, what made me excited about it? It's really the endless possibilities to what you can do once you can stream interactive content through a URL.
Yeah, it's a strong vision for sure. There's always like the good side and the downside. People argue that you can't make people do anything, get them offline, online. You can incentivize them to stay more online. And for some people, that's all they have as well. So
I struggle with that as well because I have children and I want them to get outside and touch grass every now and then. So some of the partnerships we're talking about are very much aligned with the idea that as you go away from the computer, you get rewards that you bring back to the gaming world. Example might be going to your gym. You have a gym membership. Your phone knows where you are. So if you redeem your points at the gym, you've been there for an hour and a half, you come back to the gaming world and redeem those points for, think of a gym like LA Fitness or Gold's Gym. They have a game on their website. You get points or new assets for that game by going to the actual gym and spending an hour and a half at that gym and then coming back to the website and redeeming those points for game items.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. Feels like very complex in terms of all the things that you would be building to bring this whole world together. Sounds really exciting. Is there anything exciting in the short term coming up like this year that you're working on?
Yeah, so we're at the point now where we've tested the ability to do this. We can stream. I've got on my phone, an interactive experience that I can show to people, but we haven't expanded the whole node network out yet. So that's the next step for us is selling nodes. So we'll do a node sale. There's a number of DePINs that have done this already, so we know the model that works. Ours is going to have our differences to support the way that we want our node to expand. That's the next big step for us. We're talking to a lot of the games. I'm here at the conference speaking to some of the Unreal projects that are here and some of the other big name games that you would recognize from the Web3 space. But the way that our technology works, it can be a game that's not Web3 enabled. It works the same. So so the next step will be putting games onto our network and proving out the use case. My CEO runs the Martians vs. Roughneck NFT line. They're pitching an animated show, and the way that Unreal has been so great about this, right? You can make content for both a TV show and a video game. The same set of assets can be used in both. So you make a TV show, take those assets to make a game as well. So we would probably be launching a gaming experience as well based on that IP.
For everyone watching, how can they learn more about YOM?
Sure. YOM is at yom.oo. So our website is there. And of course, from there, you can get to all of our socials, Discord, Telegram, follow us there. It's an exciting time for us, and we're really happy to have people come and find us.
Jeff, thank you.
Thank you.